Hi, how are you? I recognize you.
I'm old, 68. Remember Carrie?
Yeah. How's he doing? Oh, yeah.
I'm a good picture.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Andy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we ask for your wisdom and guidance as we open this meeting. We ask that you bless all the citizens of this town, and that you'll bless this council and the mayor and president that may do all things that are right and good for the citizens who live here. We ask this in your name. Amen. Amen. Good evening. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designated the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We're using electronic amplifying and recording device in order to attain a clear and audible record. We request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly into the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Ms. Gray? Here. Mrs. Albright Troxel? Here. Mrs. Stubbs? Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Mr. Curtis?
Here.
Chief Harkins?
Here.
Mr. Chadwell?
Here. We have a resolution to go into closed session, but before we do that, there are two items that were placed on the board there that are walk-ons, and I just want to briefly address them. One is an ordinance, the Township of Gloucester dissolving the Gloucester Township Municipal Utilities Authority. That is there, and then there's a resolution of the Township of Gloucester authorizing application to the local finance board in regards to that dissolution, the dissolving of the MUA. So those will be discussed. We're going to go into closed session. I entertain a motion. A second? Second. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Ms. Grace? Yes. Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes, I anticipate 20 minutes for a closed session period, discussing worker comp issues. Thank you.
You have a meeting after this?
No.
No, tomorrow night, right?
I don't know if it's more than.
I gave Greg.
Just on your left, resolving the whole thing. Party.
I'm here to.
What is that?
I did count part of it. Of course, I said they're just bringing it under the
We've already
township.
tried. Canceled it.
Right.
Directions and everything, separate authority.
We still gonna have to pay $46 a quarter, or are they gonna let that go?
I'm guessing.
And they'll just raise our,
Rolled into our tax.
roll it into our taxes, is that right?
That's a good question.
I didn't even know they were.
I went, yeah, actually, everything. Yes, I can't hold legislation. I have all the papers, it's in the law. That everything got taken out.
Hello.
Tony, when he sees me, he's about 8.
Yeah.
I got all the papers and everything.
They said they're gonna do a different case thing, but
And all the things prior, they came here and fought.
it's probably notifying authority.
All the news. And they got hot.
Yeah. They're in that. I mean, we went and told who they wouldn't close it until sometime. You gotta close it in probably 20 minutes.
You watch the community. I don't know, one person.
Well, there's-
Clock right there. That clock will
Guess what, they're gonna leave you in time and
Well, there's people here talking about this, like there's like 3 or 4 people. There's one.
That there is not legal, it's not. Pharmacy, it's not legal alcohol.
These people are here. So that's.
It can't, not for the old grandfather cars. It can't be, because it's 500 feet. I looked up the old, everybody sent me all the old stuff. I have all my PDF files from everybody sending me stuff.
But he's already on the plane.
You know what they did? They put in county road, and they made those yellow straight to make it a 2,000 square. But there's still not a 2,000 square foot from that place.
I'll be able to let it stay.
Millbridge Gardens, 600 feet to the. No, it's not. I'll watch.
I hope not.
No, I'm a fighter. Watch. It's like taking somebody's car.
There's 31 days in January.
I know. Right, I'm on. You're still. I thought. No, yeah, listen, they're going to, they should have wanted. To do it by her. Now they got rid of all the things. Well, they kept it down. I trained you.
The policies of the house. Chief doesn't. No.
You just get paid, right? The mayor should run a meeting. Every time the mayor runs a meeting.
No argument here?
The mayor every time it's usually runs a meeting.
Sure.
No, okay, get that.
I'll be here all night for guarantee. Every single council meeting will come. Flyers, you guys are coming there. You're just gonna tell everybody.
Is that a program or you just done that yourself? Oh, awesome. That's a. The thing about that. You think your projections. Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Where's that? Why?
I gotta sign this later. Yeah. Mhm. Madam Clerk, have the roll call again, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Ms. Grace? Present. Mrs. Albright Troxel? Here. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Minio?
Here.
Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Grellmere?
Here.
Mr. Cordis?
Here.
Chief Harkins?
Here.
Mr. Chavo?
Here.
So that was a discussion regarding workers' comp issues, and we're looking forward to a resolution to these three issues that we addressed there. Now we have the first public portion. This is for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak to council, please raise your hand. Each speaker is entitled to 3 minutes. There is a time limit of 15 minutes for the first public portion. Again, this is for agenda items only. Mr. Polidoro in the back.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidoro from the Historic Village of Area.
Good evening.
On the agenda tonight is your ordinance to dissolve the MUA. When did you guys know about this?
Excuse me?
When did you know that you were going to do this?
So a letter was sent to the MUA from Mr. Carlemere on behalf of the township. And on the 19th, which was Thursday, the MUA met at 6:30 and passed a resolution. So over the weekend, the ordinance was worked upon. The clerk provided me the ordinance, and after 4:30, day after my workday ended, I gave her permission to move forward with it and post it and put it on the website and share it with council.
All right. And I don't mean to be sarcastic, but you just got done scolding residents for sending an eGov question in. I know Mr. Hutchinson had a stroke over it. Sending eGov questions in after 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the day of a council meeting. And I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 o'clock that appeared. It's not a minor subject. That being said,
But just to add to that, there will be a public hearing at that second reading. To those who are watching from the outside, and to those who are new here, there is a public hearing that takes place at that second reading. An ample amount of time, and that'll take place when we have our next meeting in February.
it just seemed to be a quick hurry up thing, and you guys really didn't have a chance to discuss it at a workshop or anything, even though you don't have workshops much anymore. My question is, the MUA that you're looking to dissolve, to the best of knowledge of council, not the administrator, but the council, do you know what their debt or surplus ratio is right now? What the for the last
Their
cycle or so?
surplus is over $5 million. Their debt is in that ballpark. Is that correct, Mr. Cardis?
And what happens to that when that comes over? Where's that going?
Well, we would assume the debt and the surplus would also be assumed by the township.
Okay. Any direction for this to go? It looks like it'll be laying in limbo for a little while, for a couple months.
Well, we have to pass a resolution and an ordinance. It will go then. There's a process to go forward with the local finance board. Financial analysis has to be provided. We have to take a look at any type of redundancies, personnel matters. It would fall underneath the Department of Public Works. Call it the Department of Sewer. It's considered a utility. All the employees will move over. The building still remains there. The vehicles still remain there. Recycling still gets picked up, and billing still takes place. It's just now under the township.
Okay, my time is almost up. If no one else wishes to speak, I'd like to come back up, please.
Okay, yes. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, I do for a second. This is part of the agenda down here. This is
Yes.
my first Gloucester Township meeting. I used to go to all the Stratford meetings when I lived in Stratford. Is this part of it?
Yes, that's part of the agenda.
I'll
Yes.
be, come on.
Your name and address, please.
Danny Michelle Paris Morlino and 507 Milford Road.
Hello.
How you doing? You have underneath the agenda R230104. So you're putting through a resolution to support the application of a cannabis oasis LLC to open a retail business, which is just a cannabis oasis, which that, I don't understand what an oasis is, on College Drive near the college.
No, 2001 College Drive is the plaza where across from ShopRite, where the Philly Pretzel Factory is at,
Right.
the health.
So you're gonna have one there, and then you already secretly passed one, December 27th at the Friendlies.
How did we secretly pass one?
Well, it was a meeting that nobody knew about.
What was that meeting?
I'll talk about that later when I have the 5 minutes,
Okay.
okay? And,
So
I know Tony Costa very well,
Okay.
and I will discuss that at that time.
Okay.
Okay, but this one, you're putting another one in over there
They're making an application, and.
for an oasis? The word oasis sounds like it's gonna be like
That is the
a,
name. If you're gonna.
Yeah, I know, but it sounds like you're gonna have-
Okay,
I taught college for 45 years.
okay, and I'm trying to respond to your
Go
question.
ahead.
Okay, that's the name of it.
Okay,
So, Cannabis Oasis is the name of the application. They're seeking, support from the township in moving forward with their application.
don't you
So this
think we have
resolution-
enough
may I-
drugs in this town?
Miss Danny, may I finish, please?
Sure.
So this council, if they move forward with passing the resolution, then they submit this with their application. That doesn't mean that this is going to move forward, but it's supporting their application because they need a resolution when they go to Trenton on their application.
So you're gonna, again, change to a new ordinance from the grandfathered in clauses?
I'm not aware of us changing any ordinance for this particular or anything.
Well, you did already, but this one?
Mr. Carler?
What you have to understand is the resolution of support is a state requirement of anyone that makes an application to the state to be a licensed retail or whatever category they're applying for. The resolution basically says the location is a permitted use in the location, and they meet the requirements. And it's just a resolution telling the state that Gloucester Township will allow such an operation. Doesn't say that we want it, it's saying that we will allow it. He still has to go through the state, he still has to get his approval there, then he still has to go to the planning board or wherever.
Right, it went through the,
Most processes are there. This just tells the state that the township will support that type of thing.
okay, I'm gonna finish up the 5 minutes when I get to the 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Mr. Krug?
Evening, Council. Paul Krug, Blackwood
Good evening.
Estates. I was interested in resolution 046, the temporary budget. I understand government needs to operate at the beginning of the year before regular budget is passed, and I understand 64,400,000 times 26.25%, which is the amount to not be exceeded from the prior year's budget, gives you 16,900,000 roundabout. But, and those are all exacting numbers down to the cent. Where I guess I became interested was the round number of 8 million. And how that was arrived upon for debt service, capital improvements, and public assistance. Couple of questions. Number one, I have not, since coming here, heard the term public assistance, so I would like to know what that is. Number two, I understand that capital improvements is typically separated out from the regular budget, but debt service is typically not. It's typically under the regular budget. So I'm wondering why that is being separated out here. And I don't know what public assistance is, but I'd like to know why potentially that's also being separated out.
All right, Mr. Krug, I spoke to the business administrator over the weekend and today discussing this, the $8 million. There are some debt obligations that we have to meet. Mr. Cars, if you can talk about those debt obligations.
So when you calculate the temporary budget, which, you know, I don't find it to be that meaningful of a document, because what's going to happen is the actual budget itself, which will be adopted sometime in May, will be the budget that we're going to have to live with. So when you do the temporary budget, you back out any of your debt. That's not included when you calculate the 26.25%. And then the other issue is that we have a lot of debt that has to be paid. It's permanently financed bonds that has to be paid in the first quarter. We won't get our budget finished in the first quarter. So we have to be able to make those payments. Those payments come out to about $7,570,000 with principal and interest. And on top of that, we're putting money in for the capital improvement fund, which is $430,000. That's the down payment money they use when you borrow.
Can you say the first number, the debt service number again?
$7,570,000.
We have due in the first quarter.
Yes. Yes, we
Okay.
do. General obligation bonds 2014, due on February 15th of 23, $2,315,000. An interest of $104,550. General obligation bonds 2019 due on February 1st, 2023, $3,620,000. Interest $274,600. And then we got a bunch of Green Acres money that is due early in the year too.
Okay, so seven plus change out of the 8 million is for debt service. But I am correct that debt service usually comes out of the regular budget.
Yes,
And so,
but because it's so early in the calendar year, in the fiscal year, you have to provide funds for it, because we're not going to have a budget adopted by February. It's not going to happen.
so I guess my concern is this. Let's call it 25%. I know it's 26.25. Let's call it 25% at 16 million. Last year's budget was 64 million. In essence, are we adding $8 million by passing this temporary budget to this year's regular budget?
No, you would have had to put that in your budget anyway. You have to pay your debt. It would have been in there anyway. It just needs to be in there now.
But it was in there last year under the regular budget. It's now being separated out in this temporary budget.
I can't tell you if that's the case.
Well, we serviced our debt last year, right?
I'm sure she added that in there last year, because these issuances go back to 2014 and 2019, and the principal payments are on an annual basis. So that doesn't. We can check. I'll check with her, but I'm sure that was included in this last year too.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just
Mr.
one last
Krug.
comment, if I may.
Mr. Krug, we have some other hands here, Mr. Krug.
Well, I just want to say, I do
Mr.
have the
Krug.
worry that maybe we're adding $8 million to this
Okay.
year's budget. Council, if you could just take a look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Heimball. And I'm going to ask the audience to please refrain from shouting out and making statements while people are speaking. Thank you. Mr. Heimball.
Yes,
good evening.
Peter Heinbaum, Morningstar Court. The MUA dissolution, that's a pretty significant walk-on item. And I know this is first reading, and you're going to spend the next couple of months working out the details. But there must be some kind of vision to this that in place today, or some kind of like efficient cost efficiency or savings or sale of assets or privatization, or there must be some kind of vision to take the step that we know we're going to move forward with.
There hasn't been a conversation of privatization. This is economies of
What's the
scale.
vision?
Economies of scale.
Okay.
Try to avoid duplication.
So there will be some headcount reduction potentially.
There are, you look at professionals, we're not gonna have two professionals. We're able to move, individuals under Public Works Department. We'll take a look at personnel, health benefits, debt, all these things that we have to provide to the local finance board. I just jotted some things here, bear with me. Preparation of a report as provided by independent auditor. And in that report, they're going to review any costs, debts, obligation, assets, an estimate of ongoing and reduced costs as a result of the dissolution, considerations for personnel, reduced utility insurance costs, health benefits, debt service, annual professional fees. There no longer will be an MUA Board of Commissioners. And then there'll be a debt analysis, and all that has to be provided to the local finance board.
Well, for this to be a ordinance, there must have been some back of the envelope calculations of these savings done already, has there?
I don't have that here, Mr. Cardis. No.
Just, the ordinance won't be read for second reading until after the local finance board is weighed in on the process. Their approval for this interest second reading.
Okay, so but we're gonna go ahead and vote yes on the first reading without knowing.
The analysis will probably be a couple months.
So we'll have the second reading before we even know what we're looking at.
We won't, we can't until the look.
Oh, so the second reading won't be the next meeting, it'll be down the road.
Correct.
Can't have it until the LFB approves.
I see, okay. So we know, we're comfortable, we know enough of what's happening to have a first reading and vote yes today, I guess, right? We're comfortable enough with what we know now to vote yes today, is that?
Well, I am, and we'll see when the resolution ordinance moves forward.
Okay. Well, another quick question. There's also an ordinance. Mr. Cardis has been the acting public works director for a few years now, as well as the business administrator. It's been rolling along like that for a few years. What's the purpose of codifying that in an ordinance today?
Because he's been doing these roles, so we're basically memorializing what his role is. And in fact, the agenda, when it had, and I'm going to ask for amendment when we read it, it says that the head of the Department of Public Works shall be the Director of Public Works and the Business Administrator. Now that should be stricken where it says that the head of the Department of Public Works shall be the Business Administrator. It's just memorializing what he's been doing for these last years.
Right. So, but going forward, any future business administrator, this will carry on.
Yes, it would fall underneath them.
So this is a permanent decision to combine those positions under one.
And for now, and things can always be revisited.
It was recommended by Labor Council.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That is the end of our public portion. Bid report.
Public Works Garage Building Rehabilitation.
I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Ms. Grace?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next is ordinance 0-23-01. Ordinance amending chapter 2 of the Code of the Township of Gloucester entitled Administrative Code of the Township of Gloucester. This amends under chapter 2, article 8, Department of Public Works, and it's amended as follows: that the Department of Public Works, that it is created, the head of the Department of Public Works shall be the business administrator. So on the agenda, it had the Director of Public Works and the business administrator oversees it. I'm asking if my colleagues to amend that part, take out the Director of Public Works. That was a mistake, and it should be that the head of the Department of Public Works shall be the business administrator. Can I have a motion to amend that ordinance? Zach, thank you. So we'll vote on the question to amend, on the motion to amend it, and then we move forward with the motion. Okay, so this is to a motion to amend. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Ms. Grace?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes to amend. Now, entertain a motion, for ordinance 0-2301. Is there a second? Thank you. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, next is our consent agenda. Any council member would like to have any item removed, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
On the question, oh, you want to take that off? This is the first I know about it, but okay.
Yeah.
So, all right,
I gave you a letter, you have the letter, it just came in late this evening.
That's the one for 84.
You pulled out of it.
I don't have that letter. Oh, this letter here? Okay. Bear with us, folks. Okay,
No, we have to take that out.
all right. So let's, that is, resolution R 2301-044. All right, so I have a motion, can I have a motion to table, or just pull it off? Okay.
I'll make a motion, full 044.
Is there a second? On the question, roll call to remove, 2301-044.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, now I have a resolution to accept the consent agenda with that removal of 044.
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes.
Resolution 45, resolution to make budget transfers between appropriations in the calendar year 2022 general fund budget.
May I have a motion? On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes.
Resolution 46, resolution adopting a temporary budget for the Township of Gloucester for 2023.
May I have a motion?
Make that motion.
There a second?
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, we have two eGov access emails.
We have a walk on resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the walk-ons, I'm sorry. I got a lot of papers here, I apologize, folks. Let's do resolution 2301-047. This is the resolution Township of Gloucester, County of Canton, authorizing an application to the local finance board pursuant to NJSA 4858-20. I entertain a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison. Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel.
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, next is ordinance 0-23-02. There will not be a hearing for this. That will be held for the second reading. It's ordinance of the Township of Gloucester dissolving the Gloucester Township MUA pursuant to NJSA 4858-20. I entertain a motion.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel.
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Now we have two eGov emails. The first one is from Steve Carazino of 41 Bellevue Avenue. There is a lake on Pine Street and Highland Avenue in the Ariel Clementona neighborhood with a parking lot for access. The area is covered in trash, including used condoms, all over the parking lot, which pose a health risk to residents. Also, the lake is a habitat for geese and ducks as well as fish. Residents use the lake for fishing, yet the entire shoreline is covered with trash. There's also tons of trash inside the lake itself as well. When can we expect the litter patrol department to come down and clean this area up? I hardly think that we can call ourselves a green community with what's left of our town's natural habitats being left in such a disgusting state. Thank you. Mr. Karsh, you have this and you have shared this with our Public Works.
I shared it with, Mr. Bucciaroni, so I'll follow up with him tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Next is from Denise Coyne of 1060 Choose Landing Road. You previously stated that the amended Villages of Gloucester redevelopment plan has not been finalized because you're focusing on Blackwood West and its MPP plan. However, the redevelopment study for the Villages of Gloucester lots is a separate report authorized by Resolution R19 :12-345 adopted on December 23rd, 2019. T&M Associates completed the investigation of Block 12402, lots 1, 2, and 5 through 16, and produced a draft redevelopment study and preliminary investigation report on December 28, 2020. The redevelopment study conclusion stated only 2 lots met any of the criteria needed for designation as area in need of redevelopment, and none of the properties would be needed for effective redevelopment. The taxpayers paid T&M Associates approximately $23,000 to complete this study and to produce a report. It has been 3 years and the study report is still in draft form. The local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A-12A-5, requires the study to go to the planning board after the preliminary investigation is completed for a public hearing. The board then recommends whether the lot should be designated in need of redevelopment. Over the past 3 years, the condition of the properties used to judge if the lots met criteria identified in the draft study, such as the land use, title, and ownership, and property condition have changed. The township's master plan has changed as well. Your focus on Blackwood West should not prevent the investigatory report for lots specified in Block 12402 from being finalized and reviewed by the planning board. Why did council feel it was important to request a redevelopment study on these 16 lots? Please provide specific reasons why the redevelopment study and preliminary investigation report prepared on December 28, 2020 has not been finalized. What is required to finalize the report, and how much time can pass before the report is no longer valid? We have reached out to T&M Associates for some of these answers, Ms. Coyne. We do not have them as of this time, but we can share that information with you once we receive that. Now we'll open up our second public portion. Each speaker is entitled to 5 minutes. There's a 30-minute time period, and anyone can speak on any topic during this public portion. Anyone wish to speak? Miss in the back with the purple. Sorry to point.
My name is Charlie Baum at 11 Diana Drive. I was just wondering if on your budget to improve area or whatever, if you can add changing tables to this building. There's no changing tables on this floor in the restroom downstairs, and I understand the New Jersey law, New Jersey 219th Legislature Assembly Number 857, although it was only passed December of 21, and public buildings are not required to add changing tables on every floor until January 2025. But I think if we can at least add changing tables to the men/women's restrooms here, it'd be much appreciated. Last 2 meetings I went to, one being zoning, one being this one, I've had to change my daughter's diaper in the back. And as this is being recorded and it gets published, that's not really very private. So, yeah.
Mr. Carnes, I believe we've ordered changing tables because I spoke with Bob Tyshak and Elmer Shelley, and they were looking into that.
Can you give us a status update? And
Yeah.
That was for the men's room. and-
isn't there one down in the police station in that bathroom?
No, so this got brought up to us. We addressed it in the directors meeting, I believe last month, just before the holidays.
Yeah. I brought it up to someone in the zoning board. I just wanted to make sure there was public.
It's in the works. I know
Awesome.
the mayor addressed the public works. Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah,
That's being worked on.
Awesome. And then really easy question for you, the MUA thing, since I know it's not dismissed yet, but will we be getting the letter since we write our checks to MUA for sewer?
So, let's say it moves forward.
Yeah.
And so the billing would come from the township.
Okay.
And it would be made out to Gloucester Township. So those quarterly payments that you make.
Okay, I just know because it says Gloucester Township MUA
Yes.
on the check. So I just wanted to double check. We'll be notified if we have to take the word MUA off of it.
No, I'm Gloucester Township.
You'll continue with the bills you received, because they're all the way through December 31st.
Yeah, no, I understand the bill.
No,
I
but just writing out the check.
Yeah, just paying it.
You just read GTMUA.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah, easy.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Scanzello. I am from Wyoke and an Ariel. And I have a request to hopefully modernize how projects are submitted. Can we move away from paper submissions, and can the township figure out some way of getting an electronic submission? So that way all the plans, all the reports, all of that kind of information is submitted electronically. It would then make it easier for when the agendas are put together to just tag that file right along with your agenda and send it off and publicize it on the websites. Right now, traffic reports, environmental reports, the site plans may come in about this big, and you can't really do much with them. And a lot of times, engineers are binding their reports in like a spiral bound notebook. Therefore, the staff up in the construction office
Have
or
to
the
take it
planning office
apart.
can't scan it. They can't scan it. So therefore, that information is not getting to the public unless you actually come down to the building. If you had some format of an electronic submission, they could submit you guys like X amount of quantity of paper copies as you guys would like to have paper files on. But if there's also an electronic submission, it would kind of bring us into the 21st century and help speed things along, and actually may even reduce some paper usage.
Mr. Chadwell, because you work in other municipalities, and Mr. Carlemare, who does planning in other municipalities, have you seen electronic submissions in other municipalities?
No, it's right now the state is working through a digital signature. Right now, all the submissions, those big paper files have a engineer's or architect's seal on there, or literally a raised seal. So until a DocuSign or some other process comes along and NJ approves that process, then everywhere in the state can start going to electronic copies.
Okay.
But until that, there's no official electronic seal.
Pattern that comment.
Okay.
Just.
Great idea.
It is, it's a good idea, yes.
Moving forward.
When I was on the planning board a long time ago, carrying all those things and plans and yes, so.
Most of those large plans come in from the applicant. So I guess if that legislation comes down the road, it's got to be determined, is that the cost imposed upon the applicant submitting it or the municipality that will have to convert it all? That's the process.
I would say put it on the applicant that, I mean, somebody has made that plan up on their computer somewhere. They have the file. They then make this huge printout so it's readable. But there's some architect or some engineer somewhere that already has it on his computer. So he could just attach the file and off it goes.
I agree. But until it's digital, anybody can send that file without a signature, somebody literally saying, these are my files. I put my seal on them, seal of approval, literally a seal. They aren't the official. So anybody could start sending any PDF around as the official one until it gets tagged digitally with some kind of seal.
Okay.
You're not the first one to bring it up. So.
Just putting it out there.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's your, November 28th.
Okay, can we have your name,
Oh,
please,
sorry,
and your address?
Anthony Zamboni. That was my house at 4 Hawthorne Court, one that burned down. I told you about the solar panel issue. I'm still trying to get some kind of resolution with the tax office here in Gloucester Township. I gave you all an envelope. I hope you read it. I tried to keep it brief.
Okay.
And I showed you pictures of the fire. It's devastating. And it destroyed the house. And when I called the tax assessor here, it was the assistant assessor. His first name is Troy. I don't have his last
Mr.
name.
McPherson, yes.
Okay. He told me he could not change my taxes until the very end of the year. The fire happened March 8th. That means I had to bear that burden for 10 months. Well, we didn't have a place to live. The house is destroyed, as you'll see. And I had to buy another house. So now I have a double tax burden. What it caused me to do was expeditiously sell the house, and I got burned. Okay, I got predatorized. All right, I sold it for 10,000. The guy sold it for many times more than that. So I put that blame squarely on the Gloucester Township Tax Office. No reflection on anybody here, but that office has problems. That person, Troy, would not explain to me why he couldn't change to the end of the year. I looked around on the internet. Many states have it explicitly in their law, and I gave you a copy of California's reassessment. It's called Reassessment of Property Damaged by Misfortune or Calamity. And they prorate it back to the date of the damage, which gives you relief. The reason I needed that relief is so I had time to sell the property. I didn't have time. I can't tell you how crushing it is to lose your house, everything in it. All I had was the clothes on my back, and same with my wife. So this is ridiculous that I was told that. I was astonished when he told me that. And I'm trying to get through to, I don't know, Councilman Hutchinson told me your legislative body, he doesn't know how much control you have with the tax office. But I want to know where he gets that information that he couldn't change that. He couldn't readjust mid-year, because I also gave you, I didn't find until November, the New Jersey law. It's not explicit, but it's implicit, because there's an added assessment where they not only allow, his argument was he couldn't do anything mid-year, a mid-year adjustment. Well, New Jersey law not only allows for it, it insists on a mid-year adjustment if you build an addition. So, you know, he was saying he can't change it to the end of the year. It's just a matter of mid-year adjustment. He should have changed it. I don't see any logic in any way, shape, or form, and he has not explained himself. And I'm asking the board to at least get an explanation for me from him. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm owed about $3,100. I sold the house on August 17th. The fire occurred March 8th. It's about $3,100 that I could use. And it's not just that, it's the point. He put me in a situation where I was under pressure, where I had double taxes. And I just don't think it was fair. And, you know, I was sort of on my own. It's really what it comes down to. I'm a little better shape this time than I was 2 months ago. I got emotional on this.
No, that's okay, Anthony.
It's all right. And I think you're all sincere people. And I would hope I tried to keep that letter. You're reading a little bit of it now.
Yeah.
You can take a look at those pictures, Mr. Mercado. It's devastating.
So Anthony, you're looking for some clarification, and I think as a body here, we're looking for some clarification. So Mr. Cars, can you facilitate a discussion and meeting with Mr. Grandremo and Mr. McPherson regarding this matter? There are extenuating, I don't want to go out on a limb, but there's some extenuating circumstances here. The man lost his home, and I want to see what legally we can do and what we cannot do, but.
Statutorily, what they were doing was following the law.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to see that.
Let's
law.
get some, we'll get some clarification for.
The law, I don't see it, and he didn't explain it. All right. I will say one more thing to you, as far as the law is concerned. New Jersey needs that explicitly in their law. If you members have any sway in any way, shape, or form, when you have something like that happen, you need help.
It's, in the
Okay.
packet, I have his number there and his new address. Thank you, Mr. Anthony.
I'll look into it and get back to you.
Okay. Is there anyone else?
Yes.
Normally you should raise your hand before you approach there, but yes, since you're at the microphone.
Danny Michelle, Paris Molino, 507 Milford Road.
Hi, Danny Michelle.
Okay, I'm gonna read you a couple articles, okay?
Okay.
From your meetings. And Mr. Hutchison, I had a little talk, and I couldn't find him at the time, but I will read him now. The former Friendly's restaurant building on Blackwell Clementon Road in Gloucester Township is proposed to become a cannabis dispensary. The Gloucester Township Zoning Board will hear a presentation on August 10th. Nobody ever saw this except that they looked at 42newjersey.com. It was not in Gloucester Township Patch. It wasn't in Gloucester Township papers, which I have here, and I get them all the time. I haven't attended meetings because I didn't have to. I speak to Chief Harkins. I speak to a couple other police officers because I do certain things. But I didn't even know about this, which is really strange. until somebody sent me a couple of these things. The building sits in the front of the parking lot of Commerce Plaza 2, which is slated to become Giant Fitness Gym, who I know the owner actually, because I've been in the gym business for years. I used to own Femme Physique Gym in that shopping center for almost 20 years. The former Friendly sits close to the property corner of Blackwood Clementon Road and Millbridge Road. There appears to be ample parking surrounding the Friendly's building. Now that started being, the parking spaces started being painted and everything back in July. It started being reconstructed because I live around that area. So I watch it all the time. In recent weeks, crews have been on site at the building. Initially, they were simply gutting the interior. I checked with the town a few weeks ago, and at the time they had only had interior demolition permit. The visible activity and dumpster on the site started the messages and comments to 42 Freeway. Hey, what's going on at the Friendlies in Blackwood? I then spoke to the leasing company at the time, and they weren't able to divulge information. Soon after, we were all surprised when the parking lot was repainted, and that was in July. All new blacktop surface and striping, but yet nothing was confirmed as a new tenant. It didn't add up. Who would spend money for those upgrades without a tenant signed on? Well, as I almost always say, I did determine it was going to be a dispensary a few weeks ago, but needed some solid proof before putting into writing, like the zoning board meeting. From the public notice, the property is an existing commercial shopping center known as Commerce Plaza 2, and an applicant is proposing to renovate and occupy an existing freestanding building consisting of approximately 3440 square foot located on the southwesterly side of the property at the corner of Blackwood Clementon Road and Millbridge Road. Previously occupied as a restaurant, the property is in a highway commercial zone, and the proposed use is a conditionally permanent. The notice goes on to say that while the use as a cannabis dispensary is allowed, the initial application was rejected by the township zoning officer on 2 grounds. Applicant seeks a conditional use variance, other variance, minor site plan, and site plan waiver approval to renovate and occupy the existing freestanding building as a marijuana dispensary on the property, utilizing existing parking on the property, pursuant to a dispensary permit to operate an alternative treatment center awarded by the State of New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. The proposed use is conditionally permitted in the HC zone, okay, which is under the Township Land Development Ordinance, especially Article 4, Section 416D9. However, pursuant to a zoning permit denial issued by the Township Zoning Officer on July 12th, 2022, and I imagine that is you, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
not.
you say you're not.
I'm not part of the zoning board.
Okay, hold on. The existing freestanding building in which the proposed use would be located does not comply with 2 of the criteria, specifically section 416D9B and D. The applicant requests variance relief from the requirements of the HC zone, specifically section 416D9B and D, and pursuant to the NJSA 4055D-70D3 with respect to proposed marijuana retail dispensary use.
Excuse me, Miss Dana Michelle, you're coming up on your time.
I know, but the problem is I'm gonna
Because you were-
skip all the other meetings.
You were gonna detail the secret
No, no.
meeting.
No, I'm
And,
going to skip all them now.
okay,
And I think it was September 16th, the next one that was denied by the township here. And then it was October, and then November. And then a secret meeting, which is on here, which I have, with Tony Costa, Orlando Mercado, and
No.
it's on his phone. I
that's,
don't have time.
I can assure you,
It's on
the
his
last
phone.
time and that's why, because I hear things, Miss Danny, that I had a secret meeting with Mr. Costa. I have not had a secret meeting with Mr.
Well,
Costa.
If you give me
Hold on.
5 more minutes.
Oh,
I'll
you
prove
can
it.
play it. That's not my voice. I have never met with
It's not
Mr.
your voice.
Costa. I didn't have a meeting with Mr. Costa. The last time I saw Mr. Costa was at Catardo's back in September.
It's not your voice. It's your work, your name.
My name? How's my name? How can I have a secret
Your
meeting?
name, Tony Costas. It was 42.
My name? Was I in the meeting?
Yeah, it was a secret meeting.
But you said it's my name. Where was the
Orlando
secret?
Mercado.
Where did the secret meeting take place? I'm baffled
In the
because,
zoning, council room.
no, Not at all.
with NJ.42NJ.com and with one certain resident. Didn't give the resident's name.
Okay, I have not had a meeting with her.
On December 29th, it was passed between Christmas and New Year.
December 29th, this meeting took place?
Yes, and it was passed then,
On a third, it was passed then. When did the secret meeting take place? This alleged secret meeting?
December 29th.
December 29th on a Thursday.
Yes.
No, I wasn't gonna be here. Where did it take place? Here in council chambers?
You may show it to you, I'll give it to you.
Actually.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm smiling because December 29th, there was no way I was in this building.
Hold on.
I was on a break
Well, then
from
you better
work
talk to 42NJ.com.
and my name was not mentioned there.
You better talk
Okay?
to 42NJ.com.
Well, what I have a problem with it, Ms. Dan, is you're passing information that is untrue.
I'm not passing it, 42NJ.com is.
My name is on there saying I had a meeting. Mr. Krug, stop motioning. I'm running the meeting, Mr. Krug. Hold on, Mr. Krug, when other people are doing that when you're speaking. I'm sorry, you have eyes in the back of your head. No, you don't. Okay? She's up here. We're discussing it. I run the meeting, Mr. Krug. Thank you very
I
much.
have a question also
So-
before we go
No,
on.
no, Ms. Danny. No,
Why
Ms.
isn't the mayor running these meetings?
Ms. Danny, because the mayor does not run the meeting. It's council. It's legislative.
I know,
So-
it's totalitarian, actually.
Okay, so Ms. Danny, I guess I have an issue with that you're passing on some information that is untrue. So thank you very much for your time. If you want to provide it, I was not in a meeting. You can look at cameras. I was not here December 29th, December 27th. I was here December 28th for a council meeting that took place at 7:30. So thank you very much for your time.
That's fine, but what I'm gonna do is, when's the next council meeting?
February 13th.
And when is the next zoning board meeting?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
It's what, the second Thursday of the month? Does anyone know?
Wednesday.
This
So
Wednesday?
Wednesday? It's Wednesday?
Okay, because I'm gonna bring up Mr. Costa when he's here,
Okay,
and I'm gonna, retain an attorney.
okay,
Because
thank you.
that is passed illegally.
Thank
It's a
you.
new ordinance.
Ms. Smithman. Oh, I'm sorry, before you start, you had,
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. But, you know, I spent 30 minutes in the shop.
okay. Ms. Smithman,
Hello, good evening, council.
good
My name
evening.
is Shaughnessy Smithman. I live in the SDK Millbridge Gardens apartment complex in apartment 341, located on Millbrook Court. There was when I walked in today for this meeting earlier, there was a posting. There was something that was moved from planning to counseling, something called 1000 Williamstown LLC. It wasn't brought up during the council meeting, so since this were non-agenda items, I thought I would just ask what that was referring to, that.
I didn't read the thing. That may be a application for it's tomorrow, planning board.
No, it said it was moved from planning to council. It said that whatever that was, it was moved to council since.
But that wouldn't be addressed at this council meeting. That, I don't have it in front of me. If anyone saw it, maybe the meeting is moved.
I have no idea what it is. I'm from Williamstown, so I just saw.
No. It was the address for Williamstown Road, I believe. Not a matter regarding Williamstown, the municipality.
I understand, but it was said 1000 Williamstown LLC, so that could just be the name.
That may
of
be the
something.
name of the applicant.
We don't know what it is,
No, it's not a matter that's before us.
but it said it was moved to council. Does it mean Gloucester Township Council?
Move to the council chambers here. I'm not sure. I don't have that in front of me. If someone can go out there and take a look, maybe someone will tell me. Okay, I see a hand or two out there that someone wants to answer.
All right.
Folks, pause. Yes, what?
It's the warehouse, application, behind Target roughly.
Yeah.
And, they, talked about potentially moving it to your guys' next meeting, but it's definitely not today's meeting.
Not the council meeting, a planning board meeting.
Redevelopment.
To a council meeting.
Yes, for the redevelopment entities. So there's
Okay.
To council.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, they removed it off the planning board's agenda for tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll address it, but I was not aware of that. Yes,
That's why I brought it up.
please continue.
Because I was curious. If I could bring up once again, I still feel it's very important to connect the community to the government municipality. it was just a couple days ago, my adult child, he brought me to a local store from one of the last kind of mom and pop stores that I was familiar with. It was called McFarland's. It was located in Merchantville. It opened, it used to be the Philly Fruit. Two members of the community in Merchantville refurbished it and called it the McFarland's. They also opened a chain in Collinswood. They're both closed. They both shut down. These were just local grocery stores. They had free delivery, sliced meat, fresh bread, day-old bread, just everything that you could need to be part of a community. Now you have ShopRite, Dollar General. I went to purchase a cart. I was carrying my groceries. They only sell things in bulk that are bigger. I couldn't carry it. I stopped at the Dollar General to buy a cart to help me get the groceries back to my apartment. They didn't even sell it. There are very few connections to the community. If somebody needed to call for assistance or to write a letter, they really wouldn't even know where to begin. You'd be heavily relying on other people, which I believe all people at their core are decent, but I gotta tell you, they don't always act that way or behave that way. A street sign is pretty stable. If you could just put the address to the local police and the local fire department. If it's a sign on a post that tells you what street it is, on that post, place the address to the local police and the local fire on it in raised or recessed writing. For people that cannot write it, they can just put the piece of paper, the envelope, or the postcard and get something to ink it on and sketch it on. A picture. If they're illiterate, so they can tell the difference between the police and the local fire department, you can put it in Braille. That way, people that are blind, when they're walking, if they ever need to know where they are, it'll be located there. It would also introduce children. When they look at it, they'll know what Braille is. It's a connection to something that is solidly government, not capital or business owned. Now you want to dissolve the municipal utility authority. It's a municipal part that you're dissolving here. I thought that it was already privately owned, because when I made the suggestion to put the address on the local fire hydrants, I was scolded. You said that no, it was the MUA is private here.
No, two things. MUA deals with sewer. Fire hydrants is with, they're leased out from the water companies, which is separate from the
The
MUA.
water part is separate, so now you want to dissolve the municipality. I'm against that. If anybody cares for my opinion, I think the municipality should remain in charge of certain things. They've always kind of maintenanced and took charge of it. If they could continue on, I think it'd be always more reasonable to just figure out how to continue on together as a community rather than dissolving anything.
Well, it would fold into the township. It would be a division or department under Public Works. So there's still sewer that's taking place and recycling, connection fees for new businesses and residential properties. Those things all take place. The building still remains there. There's still personnel that's there, but now it's under the Public Works Department for the township. So thank you very much, Ms. Smith, for your time. Is there anyone else? Ms. Coyne?
Good evening, Denise Coyne, Hughes Landing.
Good evening.
Good evening. In regards to my eGov question,
Yes.
one, did T&M Associates give you a timeline for getting an answer?
They did not. Mr. Cars is going to follow up for us.
Okay, and two, that study was approved by Township Council as a redevelopment entity, as well as the proposal for the amended plan. So one of my questions was, why did you approve to do the study? Why would you have to ask T&M that when you're the redevelopment entity and you approved the resolution for the study?
We were interested in redeveloping that particular area and properties along that corridor. That's
Okay,
why.
but for what? I mean, what vision do you have for that area?
Well, there were things that when TNM, put some things forward, it's rehabilitation of certain properties there, but also to see what T&M came back with. So that's why there's, I don't have this grandiose plan here, but we thought that was an area in need of redevelopment.
Okay, so, I mean, you thought it was an area in need of redevelopment, you did the resolution, they did the study. So my question is, 3 years later, why did council never send that plan to the planning board? Did something change in your vision?
No, there, we had that draft, that's Mr. Cars, we had that draft.
That's the completed investigatory report, which needs to be seen by the planning board before you can finish the amended plan and before it moves forward. So it just doesn't make any sense that taxpayers pay for it. 3 years have gone by. The study's becoming obsolete because it's not sent to the planning board.
That study can be updated, but I foresee that being sent to the planning board, Ms. Coyne.
Sometime in the near future?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public portion. That concludes our public portion.
You said 30 minutes.
We
5
had-
more minutes.
We started at 8:28. It is 8:59 right now.
Started at 8:30.
Ms. Danny,
I want
this is
to-
how we run our meetings. Thank you very much. Close this second public portion,
This is fabulous. So Halloran,
polling of directors.
Mr. Carlton?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis?
Nothing to report.
Chief Harkin?
So I just wanted to make council aware, the administration and I met regarding a traffic situation that's going to impact the north end of our town, Summerdale Road construction project, replacement of the bridge on Summerdale Road. So just, there's no set plan. I haven't finalized the plan. We had a meeting of all the stakeholders, the school board, everybody, school transportation, all the emergency services, the mayor hosted. So I just encourage everyone, because we're going to be pushing information out in the very near future. It is a Camden County project. We are going off of them. We are monitoring and getting updates and whatnot from Camden County Department of Public Works, but it will have a significant traffic impact for that area. We're not, as of right now, and we recommended not to have a full closure. We're anticipating it to have alternating traffic with temporary stop signals. That would help emergency services be able to, there would be no break in emergency services for that area. Those that know that area is like a finger that juts out for our town. But we had our mutual aid part, other agencies, Summerdale, Magnolia, Stratford, because it will have a significant traffic impact throughout that entire area. So I just wanted everyone.
Chief, don't forget, we are still looking into the pedestrian approach.
Correct. We've made the proposal. It's up to, we haven't got to try to keep both lanes open. But we're anticipating the worst, making preparations for the worst in case. The mayor is a strong advocate about keeping that roadway open. But there's a lot to do with it. They're on timelines. We're expecting this to happen within the next couple of weeks because it being a tidal waterway and whatnot, they need to get in the water to do certain things to start dismantling that bridge. But so we'll encourage to monitor. We'll be putting it out on social media, both the township and the police department, and we'll be piggybacking off of the updates that Camden County puts out. So again,
I believe they're not starting till June.
okay, that's more information. Thanks, sir. But, we haven't got any finalized, so we're hopeful that happens. So if that's the case, we'll get the update. Thank you.
I'll update you. I believe it's been extended to June.
Mr. Chubba?
Nothing to report, thanks.
Mr. Hutchison?
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Albright Coxwell?
Thank you for coming.
Mrs. Winters?
Thank you for coming. Have a great week.
Mr. Mignon?
Thank you all for coming. Have a great week. And Mr. McCall, I know you're going to touch on it, but I just want to say great job last Monday with the Martin Luther King event. 581 people. I know you'll talk about that. So thank you.
Mr. Mercado?
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Ms. Gray?
Yes, I was gonna echo the same. The Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service in Gloucester Township was a wonderful event. I'm looking forward to it next year, and more ideas. So I really thank everyone who came out. It was just, and again, President Orlando will mention more about it. But everyone have a good night and stay safe.
Mrs. Albright Coxwell?
I think I did, but I also want to commend you on the on Martin Luther King Day. It was really great. It was the local CWS Lewis School. Everybody met there, and all the volunteers, the children. It was amazing seeing all the children who dedicated their day off from school to help others. And I think that's such a positive. We need more of that in life, and I'm glad we have it in Gloucester Township. And thank you for coming.
Mrs. Vinners?
She already went.
Having a good time.
I'm the last one. I'm just, yes, okay, so I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. As my colleagues mentioned, this past week, we celebrated MLK Day of Service. That was our 10th annual program that we had. And we had actually 548 people this to me. You gave me more credit. But there was 1,304 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that were made that was donated to the Cathedral Kitchen in Camden. 500 cookies along with notes that was donated to the Cathedral Kitchen. Dog treats were made for the animal shelter. Over here at the senior center, there was a senior sock hop where we had young and old dancing. So that is a wonderful event that we have in our township. I encourage people to participate. I know Ms. Smithman, you were there and chased me down for a t-shirt. Those that volunteered received a t-shirt. Mike was there as well. Okay, so Will. Okay. And so, but thank you for those that supported that event, and I'm so happy that that is back. On February 27th, the second meeting in February, we are recognizing African Americans that make a contribution to our community. So we're accepting nominations for Black History Month. They are on the township's website. You can nominate someone up until February 13th. And hopefully by the time we reconvene here February 13th, there is a Eagles Super Bowl victory. So, because we won't be here till February 13th. With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor? Have a great evening, everyone.